From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, I hope we were able to get out and kind of prepare for the storm. Get out and maybe even just enjoy the dry and mild weather here. I got a chance to go for a little jog with my dog this afternoon, and boy, it was nice because I know I'm not going to be able to do that come tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, probably even into Sunday. So get out there and enjoy it while you can, because that high impactful storm will be here by tomorrow. Now, we got the heavy rain, the snow, the gusty winds, and not to mention the chance for thunderstorms in the forecast. Travel delays Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That may even linger on into your Sunday. So the rain and snow, along with cooler temperatures, that's expected to continue into next week. There was a question earlier this morning on Coffee with Kruger. Someone had asked, is it going to warm up and dry out next week? The answer to that is no. We've got a series of storms coming in the early next week as well, which we'll get into that here in a little bit later. But take a look at your planner for tonight and into tomorrow. You've got the clouds, and now we're starting to see rain coming from those clouds. And now we're beginning to see the temperatures begin to drop as well as the cooler air moves in. See how we're not seeing much in the way of sunshine? That's because the clouds are moving in later on tomorrow, and not to mention, well, mainly tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon. So here's what I'm watching. All right, so we got the heavy snow. Now, it says heavy snow above 3,000 feet, but keep in mind, snow levels will be lower than that, down to 2,000 feet. It just won't be heavy snow down to 2,000 feet. But as you go above 3,000 feet, that's where you start seeing more significant snow. And this is why we're calling it a high impactful storm. Because with snow levels that low and heavy snow that low, heavy snow even in some of the foothills, it's going to create problems and travel delays as a result. And there could even be the possibility for some closures, especially on I-5, depending on how bad traffic gets. That's for Thursday, Friday, and even into your Saturday. But it's not just the snow that we're concerned about. It's the gusty winds, too. Blowing snow and the possibility for power outages. Along with that, there's a blizzard warning down in the northern Sierra. All right, and of course, winter storm warning elsewhere. But take a look at the storm timeline. So we've got high impact number 1 for your Thursday. Here's Thursday, right? Rain, snow, and wind. That's what we'll be dealing with. Now, with the rain, it will be very heavy at times with that main cold front passing through. But with that cold front, not only the heavy rainfall, but the very strong winds. I expect the strongest winds will be tomorrow, especially along that cold front. So in the morning for the coast, gusts up to 50, even 60 miles per hour. By mid-morning for the valley, up to 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. By the early afternoon for the eastern mountains, we're looking at, of course, those gusty winds as well. This is, of course, an indication of that cold front passing through. Now, once the cold front passes through, the winds will subside, but they'll be very gusty and still rainy and snowy. But snow levels starting off around 4,500 feet tomorrow, dropping to as low as 3,500 feet by the afternoon, and maybe even locally lower. Now we go into Friday, rain, snow, and wind again. But as I mentioned, the wind's not as strong, but gusts could get upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Snow levels starting off around 3,000 feet could lower to around 2,000 feet later in the day on Friday. This is why I'm expecting it to be a high impact on Friday as well, because we've got blowing snow, we've got heavy snow above 3,000 feet, and of course snow even down to 2,000 feet. This is going to create chain requirements and travel delays. This is why travel is not recommended on Thursday or on Friday. Now, you'll notice I bumped it down to a moderate impact on Saturday. Now, the reason being is we're still going to see rain and we're still going to see snow, and the winds too. But number one, the winds, not nearly as strong, 20 to 30 miles an hour. Still strong, but certainly not that 50 to 60 mile an hour range, right? Then, of course, the rain, not as heavy. I think some scattered showers in the valley. But then, as we go and take a look at the snow, even though they're down to 1 to 2,000 feet, we're just not seeing as much snow. Now, we're going to talk about the reason why we're expecting less snow on Saturday, but we certainly have that in the forecast. But still, even so, because we still have snow in the forecast and still be feeling the impacts of Friday into Saturday, it's not recommended that you travel, especially the first half of the day. Then on Sunday, we start to kind of wrap things up, a minor impact. Still low snow levels, still some snow flurries out there, but I don't expect it to be quite as big of a deal, okay? All right, so here's the area of low pressure. There's the colder air that's really cooling down. So we take you into your Thursday. That colder air begins to migrate in, but the coldest air is still off to our west, right? Even into your Friday. So Friday, the colder air is still to our west. But for Thursday and Friday, look at the flow of the jet stream right here. We are in that perfect flow for the showers, thunderstorms, and snow, and not to mention the gusty winds. You get, in this part of the flow, you're seeing less in the way of winds, and you're seeing less rain and snow as a result. So check this out. As we go into Saturday, look what happens. We shift all of this to the east. So we've got this area of low pressure here, another one here. That's kind of breaking off as a separate area of low pressure. But bottom line, here's the main area of low pressure. We take this line right here. We call it a trough axis, okay? This is where we were and will be on Thursday and Friday. This is where all the rain, snow, and wind is, okay? This is where we're seeing less rain, less snow, less wind. We're kind of in between that as we go into Saturday. So yes, we're going to see rain, snow, and wind, just not as much, because most of it's now off to our east and things are moving out. Now Sunday, some leftover activity, but look at this as we go into Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, more pockets of cooler air moving through and disturbances moving through. That's going to keep our snow levels low and keep our chances for rain and maybe even thunderstorms. So when you ask the question, are we going to cool off next week? The answer is no. Let's take you through March 5th through the 9th, still looking at below normal temperatures in the forecast. All right, let's take a look at the severe outlook. This is basically just the chance for thunderstorms. Tomorrow, we could see that here off to the north and west. I think better chances, though, for the valley westward throughout the day on Friday. All right, so let's take a look at futurecast, walk you through the timing of it all. Here we are. We can take you into 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, I think we'll start off at around 4,000 feet with those snow levels, so still fairly high. Here's the cold front right here. You can clearly see it. Heaviest rainfall, that line of heavy rainfall, and not to mention very strong winds. We'll get into that in a second. But we're also seeing in advance of it a lot of activity. So we're already beginning to see snow in the eastern mountains and the northern mountains. We're just not seeing a lot of activity tomorrow morning for the valley. Now we take you through the morning hours. By around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, now we're seeing the heaviest rainfall around Redding, and not to mention the strongest winds. Now snow levels, still somewhere around 4,000 feet, but they're beginning to drop. So don't be surprised if we do start to see snow, or at least a mix, around I-5 near Mount Shasta. By noon, now the heavy rainfall and strongest winds are in Chico, northward into Alturas and Aden, and not to mention in the eastern mountains. Here's noon. Now snow levels are beginning to drop even more. I'd say around, 3,500 feet to 3,000 feet. Now look what happens as we go into Thursday afternoon. This is tomorrow. I've dropped snow levels now between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. I'm expecting the potential to see snow on Highway 299 west of I-5, not to mention plenty of snow east of I-5 as well. Now, as we go into Thursday night, we're just going to continue to see, remember I was talking about that flow of that jet stream. We're seeing that constant flow of moisture coming in, not to mention the cooler air that's in place and the low snow levels. So this will mean some constant heavy snow at times for Thursday night into Friday morning. This is when we may wake up on Friday morning with chain requirements on I-5 near Mount Shasta City. Maybe even closures because the snow will be very heavy at that time. Highway 299 west of Redding. This is 5 a.m. on Friday, by the way. Snow on Highway 299. Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain, Berry Summit, right? All of that. Seeing that snow. Then we take you east of I-5, no surprises there, because of course that's where we have those higher elevation passes. But this is also where we're seeing the potential for thunderstorms in the valley on Friday. Now we go to 2 p.m. on Friday. Look at this, right here. Now you'll see we're not seeing a ton of rain, just again the scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms in the valley. Snow, heavy at times in the east, snow, heavy at times to the north as well. Again, between 2,000 and 3,000 feet Friday afternoon. But look at this. We've got another disturbance that'll be moving through. This one is going to bring us more round, a heavy round, let's say this, another round of heavy rain for the coast by 2 p.m. That comes in by late afternoon, early evening for the valley. Heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms. Now, we're still seeing heavy snow associated with that as well. This is where we see snow levels probably down closer to 2,000 feet at this point. Hayfork, Weaverville, I think you're going to start seeing some pretty good snow coming down at this point, okay? And then towards Mount Shasta, you get it, right? 2,000 feet, maybe even locally lower than that. But look at the valley. We're still looking at the rain in Redding. We're still looking at rain for pretty much everyone in the valley. Now I'm going to take you into Friday night, 10 p.m. We're still seeing the snow out there, still that constant flow coming in. But by the time we get into Saturday, a lot of this activity will shift eastward. But we're still going to be looking at more activity even on Saturday as well. All right, let's talk about those forecast rain totals through Friday night. Not a ton of rain. I think about a half of an inch, give or take, depending on where you are in the valley. This may be underdoing it for Red Bluff, but you get the idea. Most likely less than an inch of rain through Friday night. But that's not including what we'll see Saturday and Sunday, because we will see more rain. Heaviest rainfall will be along the coast. Now we take a look at snow totals, getting a better idea of what to expect now. Okay, this is through Friday night, 10 p.m. I think these numbers are pretty good. It may be overdoing it for Hayfork. I'm expecting maybe upwards of 6 to 12 inches on average for Weaverville and Hayfork. Bernie, I think by Friday 10 p.m. you're seeing the potential to see close to a foot of snow. I think we could see over a foot of snow in Chester, not to mention Quincy. 4 to 8 inches in Alturas, not out of the question. Maybe overdoing it for Aden. Mount Shasta City, honestly, I think it might be underdoing it. I think we could be looking at close to a foot of snow at that point by the time we get into Friday night. Ski Park, of course, several feet of snow is expected through this whole event. Hoopa, yeah, I think you can see some snow, not to mention out towards Wairika. That might be overdoing it as well. But you get the idea. We're beginning to see the snow begin to pick up. Now keep in mind, this is just through Friday night. This is not including what we'll see through the night Friday into Saturday and Sunday, and maybe even into Monday of next week. A lot more snow in the forecast. And if, the Sierra, let's talk about the Sierra for a second. We're talking 5 to 10 feet of snow in some of those highest elevations in the Sierra. It is going to be a lot of snow. This is going to add to our snowpack. Remember, many people were concerned about that snowpack. This storm, I tell you what, it's going to make a difference. All right, let's take a look at the winds now. This is midnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Here's the cold front. So we were talking about the heavy rainfall with the cold front. Now let's talk about the winds associated with that cold front. And there they are. Thursday, tomorrow morning. Now the cold front. You see how it moves down to the south and east? Now we're seeing the strongest winds by 9 a.m. in the valley, not to mention off to the east. By around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, now that cold front is here. So now we're behind the cold front. Notice the winds are now more from the west-southwest because the cold front has passed behind it. We're seeing the colder air moving in as well. Now we take into Friday. So here's the thing about Friday. Yes, it's going to be gusty, just not as strong as along that cold front line. But still looking at gusts upwards of 30, 40, maybe even upwards of 50 miles per hour, especially over those mountain ridges. So Thursday, Friday, that's the best potential for downed trees and power outages. There's Friday night, still gusty winds. The winds should subside a little bit here for your Saturday. All right, now that we take a look at how much rain we expect through Friday night, snow through Friday night, and the winds through Friday night, let's take a look at the long range and see what we have going into the weekend. Here's Saturday, and there you see how we're not seeing as much rain and snow. This is what I was talking about. Here is the trough of low pressure, right? We're in that trough axis, so where's most of the activity? Off toward north and east. We're seeing less on this side, but we're still within the flow to bring us more rain and snow. Now, this is the best potential on Saturday for Redding to maybe see, at the very least, a mix, a rain-snow mix, because this is when the coldest air will be in place. Then we start to see it move out on Sunday, but look at this. We're still seeing snow in the mountains on Sunday. Okay, and then we go into Monday. Look at this. Another system coming in Monday evening into Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday evening into Wednesday, another round of rain and snow. So this is not over. After this weekend, we've got more coming into next week. So we look at the forecast rainfall totals in the long range. Take this with a grain of salt, but most of it will be on the coast. And I do expect to see 1 to 2, maybe even close to 3 inches of rain, especially for the north end of the valley through the middle of next week. Look at the wave heights. Boy, they are really starting to ramp up. This is for your Thursday. We take you into your Friday, they ramp up even more. This is why when we take a look at our marine forecast, We are looking at a gale warning in that forecast for tomorrow. Those winds from the southwest, 15 to 25 knots. Waves from the west at 11 feet at 11 seconds. Okay, let's take a look at our forecast here for tonight. So what we're going to notice here, the wind's starting to pick up overnight, especially along the coast. Temperatures are not going to drop a whole lot because the winds will be picking up a little bit. That will keep those temperatures mainly in the upper 40s for the valley. Even for the mountains to the east, we're going to get out of the 20s and more like the 30s. The clouds are moving in, the winds are picking up. That'll keep those temperatures from getting as cold as they have been. Okay, so take a look at Trinity County. Temperatures in the mid to upper 40s for your Thursday. Winds are picking up through the morning hours. For the North Coast, also seeing those winds picking up in the morning hours. Could see some isolated thunderstorms both Thursday and Friday. Take you up north, Smith River, 54, 51 degrees for Gas Key. There's Willow Creek, a high of about 53 degrees. And your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, those temperatures will be in the upper 30s to low 40s. So it's going to be a chilly day out there for your Thursday. 43 in Tule Lake, 44 degrees for Canby. Eagleville, a high of 48 degrees. Cedarville, 46. And Alturas, a high of 46 degrees. Here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast with those temperatures in the mid 40s. Look at that. Chance for rain each and every single day for the next 7 days, not to mention snow in the mountains. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast for your Thursday, of course brought to you by Haas Farms. Those temperatures are dropping, only reaching somewhere in the mid to upper 50s for your daytime highs. Reading about 55, 49 degrees for Whiskeytown, 50 out in Lakehead, and Palisadro about 55 degrees. Here is your 7-day forecast for Reading. Well, there's the rain and wind for your Thursday, chance for thunderstorms on Friday. Saturday, we could be looking at a bit of a mix, maybe a mix on Sunday as well. And then we're back up to about 1,500 to 2,000 feet for Monday, Tuesday. And look at that, that chance for rain may even continue into next Wednesday.